Today is Good Friday. In the context of coronavirus pandemic and our experience of isolation, social distancing, in complete lockdown, this Good Friday is very special. It will remain in our memories forever. On this sacred day, it's very easy to understand the meaning of suffering, loneliness, social distancing, isolation, and the meaning of the cross. Let's think for a moment. Thousands of migrant laborers having nothing to eat, walking 500 to 600 kilometers with babies, old people, and sick people, staying in the nights in some shelters or on the road, prone to be attacked by this virus, and reaching the border areas where they are not allowed to enter and reach their homes. Unimaginable suffering. And in this context, we are celebrating Good Friday. I think it's easy to reflect the agony of Jesus Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane. For our reflection this morning, let's open our Bibles and take Mark Gospel 14:32 to 42. Mark Gospel 14:32 to 42 begins like this. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to his disciples, "You sit here while I pray there." Jesus is in agony because the one who has been in his company from the beginning is going to betray him. Jesus wants to be alone at this time. He doesn't want a group prayer. He doesn't want a crowd to be with him and to pray, not even his close disciples. You sit here while I will go there and pray. Verse 33. Though he took with him Peter and James and John. Of course, he has taken the core group, but he is asking them to pray there. He wants to be alone. When we are disturbed, when we are surrounded by mysterious things, we don't want a crowd. We tell the people, please leave me alone. I just want to be alone. Same feeling Jesus wants at this moment, to be alone. Personal prayer. Prayer is an encounter with the Father and Mother, the divine being. Prayer is relationship with God, is developing an intimacy with the Lord. Prayer is not a ritual, nor an intellectual exercise, but it is a faith experience. It is an experience cannot be expressed. Then the gospel says, he began to be disturbed and agitated. He's going through a kind of feeling, we can say it terror. Terror is a very strong feeling. Suppose you are tied to a chair and the chair caught fire. What would be your feeling? This is terror. A person loses complete control. He said to them, I'm deeply grieved, even to death. I feel like dying. But I want to pray now. Let's not think of agony of Jesus too much. If I were in that situation, how would I be able to pray? Would I be able to pray? Would I be able to relate to God? This should be the way to pray. Verse 35 says, going a little farther. We all should go a little farther from others, at least for some time. Not all the time community group together. Jesus once said on the Sermon on the Mount, when you want to pray, close the door, pray to your Father. Personal prayer without many words. Intimate connection with the lifeline, who is God, who is our fundamental and foundational truth. Next verse. Then he threw himself on the ground. Jesus has lost his complete balance. He is out of control. Mark is very realistic in Passion of Jesus. Jesus, who was so courageous, who could challenge the Pharisees, calling them, you brood of vipers and whitewashed sepulchres. A man who could stand courageously before Pilate and Herod, now is totally imbalanced and fell to the ground. But at this moment also, Jesus is connected to the lifeline and praying. 36. He begins now praying like a child. Abba, see the way he is calling God. Abba, before the mystery of God, we become children. See the way he is calling God. Abba, Father, God must have said to Jesus, my son, even now you are calling me Abba? At this moment of loneliness and agony, are you calling me still Abba? Jesus says, yes, Abba. Our relationship is not from yesterday and today. It started, Abba, when I was 12 years old. You know what I told my parents that time in Luke 2:49? Don't you know that I am busy with my Father? Abba, this relationship will end only in Luke 23:46 on the cross when I said, Abba, Father, I commend my spirit to you. It's finished. It's filial relationship, Abba. It's not that you are God sitting far away. I'm calling here, I'm praying here. No. It's father, mother, children with the parents, that kind of relationship. All things are possible for you, Abba. When our world is in the grip of coronavirus, we all raise our voice telling you, Abba, Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. You can change this situation. You can liberate us. It's possible for you. We read in Luke 1:37, for nothing will be impossible with God. All things can be done for the one who believes. You said, Jesus, in Mark 9:23. We read in Paul's letter to Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Now, the tone of Jesus is in the same wavelength. Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup. Remove this cup, Abba. See how he ends his prayer? Though I am saying remove this cup, not what I want, but what you want, Abba. When we don't know how to pray, let's remember this Mark 14:36. It's model prayer of Jesus. We end our prayer after saying everything to him. Let your will be done. He taught this prayer on the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 6:9. Now he is demonstrating the same in his life. How many times when people are affected by mysterious illnesses or natural calamities like a tsunami, earthquakes, cyclone, or now as we are experiencing the havoc by this tiny invisible virus, or sometimes sudden deaths or accidents or loss of their dear ones or cheated by others. Can I pray like this? Can we pray like this? In this situation of coronavirus, we hear many are asking today, where is God? If he is existing, alive, why is he so silent? Why is not listening to so many of our prayers? What have we done to suffer this way? But can I call God Abba, Father, Mother? Let your will be done. In my personal life, I have seen some people, they repose their faith in God and keep going in life. In Dwaraka, Delhi, when one of our neighbor, a few years ago, we call him Jacob Uncle, he was driving his car with his wife. Wife was sitting next to him. The car met with an accident. Wife died on the spot. Uncle was admitted in the hospital. He opened his eyes in the hospital after 3 days from the coma. The first question he asked the daughter who was standing there, where is mom? She was well prepared to answer to this question of dad. She said, Dad, Mama is no more. You know what he said at that moment? My child, Mama's mission is over. And so God took her away. Let his name be glorified. When we met uncle after a month, I asked him, how could you say this? Let God be praised. You know what he answered to me? Who am I, an ordinary creature, to question the Creator? He gave her to me without my asking. I lived a very happy life with her. For 30 years we lived together, not even a day we fought. But her time has come. He took her away. My time has not yet come. I am happy. Can I say this? That is why Jesus taught us the Our Father repeatedly to say, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. 37 Jesus comes to the disciples. He found them sleeping. He was not disappointed. He's giving them a beautiful advice. Even at that moment, stay awake. In this situation, my dear three friends, I am praying. Watch me. Stay awake. You will also face such situations in your life in future. That time, you should not lose your balance. Look at me, how I am facing this situation at this moment. I am praying. Watch me. Stay awake. He left them again. He went to pray. To pray. To save himself from the virus of death. Keep awake. You may not have the strength that time. Don't come into trials and temptations at that time. Pray. You may not come into the time of trial and temptation. This is second part of Our Father. Lead us not into temptation. What he taught us on the Sermon on the Mount, he is repeating second time. Again, third time he went to pray. He turns to the Father with whom he had constant communion. Perfect prayer. Father, your will be done. There are moments in our life we may feel frustrated. We may feel a kind of rejection. We may feel we are misunderstood. People are showing their power, showing their arrogance. We feel we are humiliated. We are not listened to. We may say, this is too much. We cannot do these moments other than pray for strength and enlightenment. This is the only way Jesus is teaching us now. Prayer gave inner strength to countless martyrs to face their tortures fearlessly. If these three disciples were awake, Jesus could have escaped with them without realizing the seriousness they were sleeping. Even at that time, he had a human touch. Are you still sleeping? It's okay. Enough. In verse 41 he says, the hour has come. The hour for which I have been preparing myself 3 years. The purpose for which I came. This hour, my purpose is going to be fulfilled. Finally, verse 42. What a beautiful way Jesus is talking to them. My children, get up. Let's be going. A little while ago in 33-34 verses we heard, he fell to the ground and agitated, frustrated, and prayed also, let this cup pass away from me. Now in a few moments, see the language of Jesus? Totally changed. He's telling them, get up, let's face it. How did he get this strength? 3 times he went to Father to pray. Prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is not to change the mind of God, but to understand the mind of God. Prayer will not change the situation, but prayer gives us strength to face the situation. All those who go to Velangani and Lutz are not returning with complete physical healing, but they return with the strength to live with that suffering and with the sickness. God the Father has not solved Jesus' problem. He has not saved Jesus from this cruel, excruciating pain and death. Our God is not a rescuing God, but is a redeeming God. He has not promised us saying, because you are praying, you will not face death, you will not face accidents, you will not have sicknesses, you will have no problems. He didn't say that. Jesus only asked us to ask, to knock, and seek. But he didn't say when he will give us what we are asking. Keep on asking. He will answer in his time and in his way. The word push, P-U-S-H, P, pray, you, until, yes, something, H, happens. Keep pushing God until something happens. With faith, He will answer it. Not in my time and in my way, but certainly in His time and in His way.